So this is our data file. We have 5 different people that we want to upload. We're going to simply go to files. We're going to save this file. I'm just going to call this leads for upload to. Make sure to save it as a CSV file because that's the only format that is accepted by Salesforce. No other format is accepted. So make sure to save it as a CSV file and it's saved. Next, simply go into Salesforce, go to setup. Once inside setup, in your quick find box, search for data import wizard. Under integrations, click on data import wizard and it'll redirect you to this screen. From here, scroll down, you're going to find a button called launch wizard. Click on it and this is the screen it'll bring you to. So over here, the first thing it asks you is which object do you want your data to go into? We want our data to be uploaded in the leads object. So that's what we're going to choose. So you can choose any standard or custom object that you want your data to go into, except for opportunities. Opportunities is a standard Salesforce object, which is not supported by data import wizard. So remember that. For now, we're just going to choose leads. And we can do either of these 3 things. We can either add new records or update existing records or do both at the same time. For now, we're just going to add new records. So we're going to click on this and we're going to leave everything else as it is. So we're going to leave it as is. And next, we're going to choose our CSV file. So remember that at a time, you can only upload up to 50,000 records. So if your Excel sheet has more than 50,000 rows, it's not going to go through. At least not with the data import wizard. But with data loader, the limit could be up to a couple of hundreds of thousands. So that's not a problem. But with import wizard, it's just up to 50,000. Now we're going to choose our CSV file. There we go. Leave everything else as is and click next. This is the screen it'll bring you to. Over here, you need to do your mapping, right? So you need to choose which field, which column goes into which field. For example, in my Excel sheet, I had a column named company, right? Which had company names written like Amazon, Nike, and all those company names. Now, where should that data go in Salesforce? Which field should that data go into inside the lead object in Salesforce? So by default, Salesforce obviously is smart enough to pick up on the mapping itself. So Salesforce looks at our column names in our Excel sheet and it tries to match those names with the field names on the lead object. If they're similar, then Salesforce successfully maps them. If they're not similar, Salesforce is unable to map them. In this case, the names were similar, so Salesforce was smart enough to figure it out. But let's say the column header was, instead of email, written over here, right? So we have our CSV. If you go into that, you can see that our column header is email. If this were something like contact info, right? And if you uploaded it then, over here, it would say contact info, and then Salesforce would be clueless as to where should I map the contact info column in the leads object, which field should I map it to? And over here, it would just say null because Salesforce would not have figured it out. So then you would just click change, this button over here, and then you would manually choose whichever field you want that column's data to go into. In this case, I'm just going to choose email. Or let's say if I were to choose title, how would that look? This is how it would look. So the email would go into the title field. I could still do that and it would work because title is a text field, so the email could be stored there. So it doesn't matter. The names don't need to be the same. You can choose the mapping yourself. You can manually do that. For now, I'm just going to choose email here because I want the data from my email column in the CSV file to go into the email field on the lead object. Once I've checked the mapping, I can confirm from here that first name, John, Matt, Eric, yep, where should that go? That should go in the first name field in Salesforce. Last name, Smith, White, yep, these should go in the last name field. Walmart, CloudKicks, these should go in the company field. Open, not contacted, yep, all of these cells or data should go in the lead status, and same goes for email. Once I've confirmed that and reviewed that, I'm going to click next on my bottom right. It's going to tell me that, hey, you have 5 fields that you've mapped, which is correct. First name, last name, company, lead status, and email. So it's perfect. Everything checks out. We're going to start import. It's going to redirect us to another page. It's going to say, congratulations, your import has started. We're going to click OK. It's going to redirect us to another page. And over here, we can see the progress is 100%, which means our upload is complete. Obviously, this was just 5 records. That's why the upload didn't take very long. If it were 40,000 records, it would have taken a few minutes. So we'd had to wait then for the progress to turn into 100. But for now, it's already 100. Status is closed, which means this job is done. Records that were processed, 5 records, which means 5 records were successfully created and 0 records failed. If you saw any records failed, that would have meant that something was wrong with our data and some of the records failed. For example, we uploaded 5, and if it said 4 records processed and 1 failed, that would have meant that one of our records did not have the right data and it did not go through. But for now, all of our records went through successfully.